back again here with 10 licks in the key of G. So as you just kind of saw and heard me play there, yeah, I did 10, 11 licks in the key of G, and they're all one measure long, and they all kind of start on a downbeat, end on a downbeat. Most of them end on the root note, start on the root note. So I wanted to make them obtainable, but yet tasteful, right? And also another major focus to this lesson is moving between two shapes on the fretboard, or just two positions, moving up and down the fretboard, so you can see how it's effectively done, because often it can be tricky to visualize how to move in and out of the shapes in the fretboard. And so we're going to be primarily working out of this F shape here. Of course, I'm capo 2 and sounding the key of A, but for all intents and purposes, we're in the key of G. And we're going to be working on this F shape and this root note right here, this G note. And then we're going to be shifting up into this shape here, which is often referred to as the C shape in the cage system. I often refer to it as the D shape because I see a D there, right? But yes, these two shapes, and we're going to be using the third finger for the G note here, and then getting to the G with the third finger here. So we're not going to quite get into the shape like this. We're going to be thinking more behind this. So that's the thought process there. And again, this is a free lesson, so if you want to download the tablature and use Sound Slice to kind of slow down and loop these and really dissect them, click the link in the description below, sign up for the free membership. Pretty simple stuff there. We've got a bunch of free lessons as well, and doing some of these lick lessons. So you can get the tablature and the Sound Slice by joining the free membership. So yeah, let's take a look at lick number 1 here. And again, we're moving from this F shape, and we're going to get up into this, again, kind of this D shape I refer to it as, but just kind of like the back half. Again, we're not going to be going forward. We're going to be staying behind it and moving back down. So learning to shift from one position to the next position and then back down is the goal, one of the goals here for this lesson. So, and a lot of it kind of is based out of this motif. We're using that flatted third for that bluesy feel here. So we start on the 5th fret of the D, 3-4 hammer on the G, 3 on the B, 5 on the B, shift to 8. So this is here, this is the big, shift into the next position. We got to go right to it, to the 8th fret. And then 7-8 hammer on the high E, which is the flatted third to the 3rd. And then back to the root note. Okay? And these aren't necessarily like, up speed or high tempo bluegrass flat picking licks. They are bluegrass flat picking, but it's not like a fast thing. It's more of a swingy approach, something that's mid or low tempo, bluesy-ish. Again, swingy is kind of the where I would put a lot of these licks, right? So that's the feel in the approach. You can feel how that swung pretty well. So, and then lick number 2, I gonna essentially work backwards in it, but it starts at 7-8, and then 8 on the B with the 3rd finger, shift down to 5 with the 3rd finger. It's a slide there, so then 3, then 5 on the G here, 3-4 hammer on the G, and then 5 on the D. And then I'm back to my F shape, right? So right there, I'm going up and I'm coming down. If you can really get a hold of these first 2 licks, you're going to be able to really, open up or perhaps unlock the fretboard a little bit for yourself. Lick number 2 there at the end. Okay? So again, they're all going to be like very slight variations. You know, we can make up 1,000 different ways to do these licks. Here's just a few that just felt really good, kind of fit that style, this feel. So yeah, again, there can be so many. You can make up your own, of course, but I'm shooting for 1 measure long. Lick number 3. So 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 1. So again, working on really shooting up and down the fretboard. Can I get right to this note? But 7, 8 starts it. Then 8 on the B. And then 5. So those are quarter notes too, and they're going to be short. Kind of staccato, I guess is the word I'm using or looking for. So, and then 3, 5, back to 8. Two, 3, 4. Then the next lick, I'm going to work essentially down the fretboard now, and it's going to be 8, 6, 5. There is a little X in there, and that essentially means a muted note. Or you could think of it maybe as even the 5 is a quarter note, but 8, 6. So now that's the flatted 7. And then here's 5, and we got to shift in with a third finger right there. And the X is a muted note, so I'm not fretting anything. I'm just touching the strings, but not fretting them. And then 3, 4 hammer on the G, and then 5 on the D. 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 1. Now I'm back into that F shape. Kind of played the B note open there. Then the next lick number, I think 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So now this is just on the high strings essentially, and 3 on the B, 5, 6, 3 on the E, 6, 5, 3, pull, 5 on the G, and we land on 4 on the G, which is actually the B note, the third. I'm just gonna make the partial F shape. Or cross picking it. You know, at the end of each one of these licks, they're only 1 measure long, and there's a whole note written there. And what I would usually do is just strum through the chord position that I was in or around, or just kind of play consecutive eighth notes on that one note just to keep myself in time. Again, when I was working on these, there's no chord progression. It's just the G chord going on and on when I was using them in Strum Machine. So you can use any kind of pattern or cross-picking that you want, but I was a lot of times strumming the chord that I was, or the chord shape that I was landing on or around, right? I'm trying to grab a chord shape wherever I am. Next one here. This one really got to get your fingers moving here, but starting on the D note, the 5, then 3, 5, slide to 8, so shooting up there with the third finger. Here's our 7, 8 hammer, then 8, shift down to 5, 3, and then right back up to 8. So that'll really get you going, moving in and out of these two shapes or moving up and down the fretboard. 2, 3, 4. And see how I was just kind of filling in the gap, keeping the time going, playing just eighth notes on that last note. Then the next lick, since I'm up there, I'm going to work my way down. So right here, 8, 6, 5 on the B, use the third finger. So watch my left hand. Gotta get that finger in there. 3, 5 on the G, 3, 4 hammer on the G, B string, 3rd fret, and then come down to the 5th fret D. Kind of a leap there. F shape here, and I'm going to strum through it. Next lick kind of starts the same, but it's a little more bluesy. 8, 6, right here. Get the third finger in there on the 7th fret of the G. Then 6, pull to 5, open G, 3, 4, hammer on the G, and then open G. It's kind of this whole... You can mess around and do all sorts of things by bouncing off that open G note, but not quite going to that extent, but you know, utilizing some of that, I guess, thought or phrasing. And then the one lick that I do have in first position here, number 9, I guess, I think. Open G, 3 on the D, pull to 2, open D, 3 on the A, open D, 1, 0, hammer or slide, then low string. And then the last one here. I'm gonna stay in this pretty much primarily in the F shape here. 5 on the D, 3, 4 hammer on the G, 3 on the B, 5, 3, 5 on the G, 3, 4 hammer. And it's just gonna end. Maybe I ended it early on the root note, but here it's gonna end on the 3rd, the B note. Again, they're nice and swung. These aren't really meant to be played at blazing tempos. This is more of a bluesy, swingy type of bluegrass lick. So yeah, there are the licks in the key of G. Again, really just trying to get you to go up and down the fretboard. You can make up your own, but the focus, again, as you can tell, was to stay in this middle portion of the fretboard and move up and down between 2 positions. Again, make sure you access the full-length lesson. Click the link in the description below. Join the free membership. Access this lesson and over 40 free lessons at the site.